Hello and welcome back to the MyOhMy Events podcast. It's great to have you here. As always, if you are new, please do head back to the beginning. We talked early on in the series about the 6-step method to perfect events, and we break that down. So 1, you don't feel overwhelmed, and 2, you really design events that speak to the purpose of the event, but also speak to the attendees as well. So in today's event, I'd love to talk to you about hybrid events. Now, they are hot topics, and I've had loads of questions recently about hybrid events. What are they? What does it look like for the future? How are they going to roll? And firstly, to say, hybrid events, they've taken on a few different connotations and a few different meanings. In their purest sense, hybrid events are ones where you have some people in the room in person, and you are also streaming to a virtual audience. So you're effectively speaking to the people in the room and you're speaking to the people online. So you're maximizing your audience. You are helping the people that like to learn in person, that like to learn in the moment, but you're also catering for those who are happy to take on their information in the virtual space. And we'll talk a little bit in a moment about how you can do hybrid better and better than a lot of the people that are doing them at the moment. And some people think that hybrid are that, we as a company do some events online and we do some events in person. That's not hybrid. That's a mixed model. Hybrid is where you're doing both at the same time. Hybrid looks to be the way of the future. Certainly in the short term. The pandemic has caused everybody to shift, and you've heard me talk before about the 4th industrial revolution, where online and the online space has really come into its own. People are now much more comfortable with working in the online space, with meeting in the virtual context, with seeing and connecting with people over a camera and a flat screen. The pendulum really swung the way of virtual during the pandemic out of necessity more than anything. As we start to move out of the pandemic now, the pendulum is likely to go back the other way. There will be some people clamoring to leave their offices, clamoring to meet people in the face-to-face world. So we need to cater for that. And offering some face-to-face content and context is going to be really helpful for your business. However, hybrid needs to happen for 2 main reasons. And one of them is that a lot of people have realized that they can attend an all-day conference from the comfort of their own home without the travel expenses, without the accommodation expenses. Companies now are saying, why would I send you to a 1-day conference and you cost me a day's work because you travel there, a day's work because you travel back, and it costs me to fund the place as well. Why can you not attend online? And it's a valid point. You've also got the huge environmental impact. Carbon emissions were their lowest ever during 2020. Certainly in the modern era, and people are realizing now that actually they don't have to travel the globe to do business. They don't have to travel the globe to attend a conference or a summit or a workshop. You can get the similar experience and as good an experience in the online space. Also think about the fact that if you go back to purely face-to-face, how much of the market you're potentially losing. You could cater to the 100 people that are in front of you, but if you're not streaming and you're not making your events interactive and open to a hybrid market, you're potentially losing thousands of pairs of eyes at your event. There are thousands of people that want to hear what you have got to say, they want to hear your message, but they're not willing to travel. So it's not just about catering for people's wants financially, but it's about catering to people's principles. Now, the biggest error I see when it comes to hybrid events is somebody standing at the front of the room with their slide deck, speaking to the people that are in front of them. We've all been there, we've all seen it, with a camera at the back of the room that is streaming online, a camera or a camera phone. All the people online see is the person moving around at the front of the screen, some grainy slides behind them, and at best, some decent audio if they're wearing a microphone that's streaming out as well. I liken it to somebody watching a musical through a window with your face pressed against the glass, peering in through the window. You can see what's going on. You can see the people moving around inside. You can see the audience having a great time, but you're not really part of it. To really get good value for money and good value from the experience, the online people need to feel like they are involved. Go right back to when we talked about the finishing touches. How do you make your events immersive and interactive? If you want to retain attention and you want to stand out from the crowd, your events have to be immersive and interactive. Any old schmuck can do standing at the front of the room, chalk and talk. In fact, most people are doing that at the moment. You need to be different. Stand out from the crowd. Your attendees need more from you, and they deserve more from you than just watching you talk to a set of slides that are behind you. So how do we go about doing that? Well, first things first is to make sure that whatever venue you choose has good internet access. You need to be able to plug in and stream well. There's nothing more frustrating than a glitchy link up on your part. You need to do everything you can to make sure your streaming is on point. Second, you need to make sure there's a bit of production involved. How can people see your slides while you're speaking, if you are indeed speaking to slides? If you're going to share a video or any audio footage, how does that stream into what the virtual audience see clearly, crisply, so that they're not seeing it secondhand and grainy? Make sure that your audio is sharp. Invest in a wireless mic that streams to your camera and straight out. So with your footage, the audio is crisp and clear. Think about how you make it interactive and engaging, and this will come to a little bit of practice and a little bit of study on your part as the presenter. You need to be checking in with the online audience. So get an extra pair of hands. I always say if you're going to do a hybrid event, you need at least one extra pair of hands, usually to handle your streaming while you're presenting, and to handle a bit of the production while you're presenting. But also check in with them. Hey, have we got any questions in the online space? If you haven't got a comfort monitor, or you're not seeing the chat live either on a tablet or on a screen near where you're presenting, get somebody to check the questions for you. Have I got any questions from the online audience? Get them to read them out and answer them. It's really important that you continually check in. If you're splitting the room up into groups to do group work, make sure I'll speak in a minute. Make sure every group has a laptop and web access, and split them into groups, and split your online audience into groups as well. So breakout rooms, and then plot that laptop into the groups. So your group work becomes people in the face-to-face room are also working with the people in the online space. So you get that cross networking, you get that pollination of ideas. People really feel like they're part of the room. They get to do their networking, they get to build relationships, and you're going to get even better ideas. And we can talk later about tools that you can use to collaborate with the face-to-face room and the online room, and how they can put all their ideas together on a virtual flip chart to present back. Tweaking these little ways of making it interactive for the face-to-face people and the online people makes it better value for money, makes people feel included, and their experience rating goes through the roof. And when that happens, that's when you start to become a leader in your market, a leader in your industry. That's when people go away and sing your praises, not only about the amazing content that you delivered, but the experience that they had on the day. You should also be charging the same, whether they're virtual tickets or whether they're online tickets. You could argue the virtual people don't have to pay for travel, so they are effectively saving money. And the people in the room, you're going to give them tea, coffee, and potentially lunch. So that's what their extra bit of money goes towards. They get that for free, if you like. Because the value you're delivering and the experience that they are receiving is exactly the same high quality. So don't necessarily cut prices for the virtual audience. You can also get some really cool ideas. You can, if you've got people registering online in advance, you can send them the workbooks that the face-to-face people are going to use, whether that's you send it to them virtually and they get a welcome pack, or whether you actually send them the printed versions, however your business model works. Send them the stuff in advance. Send them some snacks or a drink so that they get the in-room experience. Hell, you could get fancy and even send them a scented candle to put on to really get their brains working in order. You know, previously we've talked about engaging all of the senses to make sure that you're making solid memories so that people embed what you're teaching them. There's plenty of ways you can make your sessions interactive. Really make sure that you're making your hybrid events interactive. That's not to say you need to leave the camera running all through the breaks. You can show videos, you can show marketing and tools, you can pause the feed during the breaks. And also you might want to say thanks and wrap up and then have networking with the in-room people off camera. That's totally fine. But make sure that you are not expecting your online people to experience the event with their face pressed against the glass. And that's when you start to fall into old patterns. That's when people start to begrudge paying the money that they've paid, that they're just sitting on the sidelines observing. Make it immersive, make it interactive. Your attendees deserve more. So that's hybrid in a nutshell. We can get super fancy. We can look to do some high quality production. We can look to bring in multiple speakers, either virtual or face-to-face. We can look to send the virtual audience multiple camera angles. And that's actually something I might do quite regularly. We have a mobile production kit, which we all go round to. And essentially the online people are experiencing a high quality TV show that they can interact with, that they can ask questions of, that they can get involved with. And that really is the next level. And I would recommend that if you are going to start streaming conferences, if it's your flagship event, you need to start stepping up your game. We need to start thinking about the user experience and how to make that next level and high quality. That's it from me in a nutshell. If you have any questions about hybrid, please do let me know. You can drop me a line at lorna@MyOhMyEvents.com. You can drop your comments into beneath this podcast. I will drop a few links in there as well that might help you. And also, if you found this session valuable, please do hit subscribe and make sure that you get notification of all our other episodes that drop. And leave us a comment. It just helps other people find the podcast and helps other people figure out what they need to do to make their events better. So go well, and it's time to level up your events. Your audiences deserve more.